Welcome to the Grow Your Independent Consulting Business podcast. I'm Melisa Liberman, a fellow IC and business coach. On this podcast, I teach you to become a consistently booked independent consultant without becoming a pushy salesperson or working 24/7. If I can do it, you can too. Listen on to find out how. I'm so excited to have Rachel Hughes of Sorbonne Consulting here today. She is a fellow independent consultant and graciously has agreed to come on the podcast to talk with us about her experiences as an independent consultant and how mindset has impacted her business and whatever else we get into as well. So, Rachel, I'm so happy to have you here. Would you introduce yourself and give us a little bit of background about your business?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Melissa. It's lovely to see you again. Hi everyone, my name is Rachel Hughes. I'm the owner and director of Sorbonne Consulting. So I help my clients in the public transport and infrastructure sector win large-scale government bids. I also help them improve their sustainability performance. So for me, I started Sorbonne Consulting 12 years ago. I love solving problems, and so I'd read geography at Oxford, worked as a consultant 5 years since graduating, and I saw an opportunity to become independent, so I took it with both hands. And 12 years later, here I am. I'm working with Melisa. So yeah, it's all worked out.
Amazing. 12 years doing this. It's not for the faint of heart.
No,
it's
not.
Tell us a little bit about why did you become an independent consultant in the first place?
I think for me, I saw success as being self-employed. Both my parents, when I was growing up, had their own businesses. And for me, that's what I really wanted to have. And then I saw an opportunity with rail franchise bidding, which at the time in the UK, the government would tender out large-scale rail companies over like a 7-8 year contract. So the bidding period was around 6 months, and so they needed specialist support. And as someone who likes coming up with new ideas and solving problems, this was a good niche and being quite competitive. So this is what I started off doing. And then over time, I worked in other areas of transport, and then I expanded to the Middle East in 2017. So public transport and infrastructure is very much got a good relationship with between private and public. So there's a lot of government large-scale tenders involved. So I managed to set my business up in Dubai, and so I lived out there for a couple of years. Then I moved back. So at the moment I have 2 companies, one in London, one in Dubai.
An international independent consultant.
I try, yes. Global.
The global independent consultancy. And you were in France for a while too, is that right?
Yes, I'm learning French. So a lot of 3 big public transport companies are based in France. So that's my long-term goal, to work in France. But I need to work on my French first before that happens.
I took so many years of French, maybe 7 in college, university. But I don't think I could order a drink now if I needed to. It all went away.
It's accent. I think that's the thing. It's pronunciation. So it's as I say, long-term goal.
Yeah. And the professional French is different than casual French too. To be able to do business in French is, I think, a higher bar.
Yes. And there's a whole cultural aspect as well. And I think I didn't realize how many idiomatic phrases I use in English. So it's understanding what the equivalent of those is in French. So.
Yeah. Rachel, tell us where you live right now.
So I live in London, so just northwest London. So it's great to be able to. London's obviously a global city, lots of stuff happening, a lot of work's there, and then I'm also lucky I get the opportunity to travel.
Yeah, so good. Well, tell us a little bit about the last 12 years. What if you had to summarize them, which is a big ask, but tell us a little bit about the journey, if you can recall back to 12 years ago when you started and what it's looked like up until now.
I think I started being so keen to work for myself, and then I achieved that. But then I think as well, the world has changed so much as well. So when I started, I was incredibly lucky because there was a UK government timeline of all the public sector bids, so I knew there were a couple of bidders, and so that was my pipeline basically. And then that changed in 2017, and then I moved to Dubai, and that's where everyone has said, "Oh, you'll never make it work in Dubai," especially as a woman, even though they had never been there before. And so that made me even more determined to work there. And because there are only a small number of companies that have the capability to run large scale metros and trains, etc., I had a client in the UK, and they offered me work in Doha at the time, in Qatar, helping in Doha Metro. So I think what I suppose it's change would be a constant, which sounds a bit of a cliche, but also I think for me, I did a master's in carbon management at Edinburgh, so I started doing customer experience, kind of business advice, and then there was more of a niche in sustainability, making that commercial for a tender and how to come up with good ideas. And when I started in 2012, that was 1% of the quality score, and now that's 15 to 20% of the quality score. So 12 years ago it was green nonsense, and now it's, oh, this is really important, we need your expertise and help, and you can have a team. So it's really changed over the past 12 years, and I think it's having that faith that things will happen. It just doesn't materialize how you think it will happen at the time. And I think as well, for me, investing in yourself, I think as an independent consultant, nobody is going to tell you, oh, it'd be good if you went to this conference, oh, you should invest in this training. So that's the thing, is to have that confidence to invest in yourself, because that's what you need to grow and develop your offer. And also, yes, because no one else is going to do it for you.
Yeah. Tell us, along the way, have you had any resistance to, you have a very specific niche that you work in, and a lot of consultants wish they had the specificity that you have. Tell us, have you had any resistance to that over the years?
I think the one thing I've had, I think, is being able to articulate what your niche is. So I think for years my brother always thought I did the station announcements at railway stations, and I was thinking, gosh, that must be because I'm not able to explain it very well. So I think over time, I've honed that, and working with you, it's really helped to really say that impactfully. Because if you start trying to explain the complexities of government tendering, people's eyes glaze over.
Yeah.
So I would suggest that, yeah, making that clear. And then also, sorry, could you repeat the question again? Is that okay?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I was just curious if because you have such a specific niche, and so many consultants want that, but also feel resistance to it, worried that they'll leave other opportunities on the, it will exclude them from other opportunities. I was just curious if you've had any of that type of resistance to niching, in this last 12 years in your journey.
No, I don't think so, because I could always see the potential that it's a niche, but it's quite deep. So you may have to be quite flexible sometimes in terms of locations, but I knew that I was happy to do that, because I thought if I was to start trying to develop a niche in marketing, that wouldn't be my skill set. So I thought I'd carry on with all the work that I had done in setting up Sorbonne Consulting.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about what's the vision for your business, Rachel, in the long run.
I'd love to be the number one choice for advice on tendering and sustainability in public transport and infrastructure sectors. I'd love them to be like, oh, who do I need? Oh, I need Rachel. And then they call me.
Yes. And how far against that goal do you think you are? How far have you progressed?
It's lovely to say I'm in demand, so I don't want to sound too hubristic, but yes, I get asked for work approach, which makes such a difference. I mean, it doesn't always happen, but for large scale government bids, I tend to get asked. So I suppose I just need to put some KPIs to quantify that.
Yeah, it's so good. I reflect back what you just said, which is you have a passion in the transport area and sustainability, and have been willing to really plant your flag there and say, you know what, there's so much demand for this type of work, and across the globe, and be really willing to focus in on that, and to put a vision forward of being the number one choice, and really centering your investments, I think, around it, centering the focus you've got from a business development perspective and centering it around that vision.
Yes, yeah. And
Yeah.
touch wood, it's all worked out so far.
Yes, so well. It's worked out so well for you. Which I think then nicely leads us into the next question I have for you, which is what lessons have you learned over the past, what stands out for you over these past 12 years? What lessons have you learned that you would share with your fellow independent consultant colleagues?
I think I came from a consultant background, so I had seen how a large and a small consultancy works. So I was like, oh, I must have taken these attributes. I think one of the first things is always offer value. So even if it's like interesting articles that you've seen, or rather than because that's how people want to work with other good people that help them. So if you're constantly being helpful, then it's like, oh the gosh, this is lovely. Because so it can be quite difficult sometimes. And then, I mean, I'm obviously very passionate about public transport, but be interested. So asking questions and demonstrate, and actually listening to the answers. Don't just nod. I think for me, I mean, I take photographs when I travel, and I was like, oh, that's a great idea. You know, whether it's a QR code for plants, you know, to maintain community gardens or public art at stations. I've got a file of them, so that when the next bid or the next project comes along, I say, oh, this could be an opportunity to add this in. So you've always got innovation. And I think probably we'll come on to this later, but definitely don't underestimate the power of mindset. I thought I'd got mindset sorted because I'd set up Sorbonne Consulting 12 years ago. Didn't realise it's something you need to keep maintaining so much. So, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. Oh, so good. Are there any mistakes you've made in the business that looking back, or pitfalls that you would that you encountered that you might help others avoid?
Yes, I mean I think I made plenty of mistakes. I think the key is you got to live and learn and don't just live, isn't it? As my grandmother used to say. So yeah, play to your strengths. I think, and being able to articulate what it is that you do very clearly and practice it, even if it's with anybody you meet in the street, just so you have that really, so it's really easy for you to say and natural. And then as part of that, outsource things that you're not as good at. Some people think when they're starting off, oh, I don't have the money to do this, but for me, I love winning and delivering work. I really don't like doing my accounts, so that's why getting an accountant or getting someone to do your IT if you want a website, that's what I would really suggest. And
Yeah.
then being flexible as well, I suppose, and keeping an eye on wider societal trends. It feels that the world has changed so much over the past 12 years, even more so in the past 5 years, that having an eye on like all the emerging things that can help, like AI in terms of note taking and summarising, even just checking over emails, which I find it to be really helpful because it gives me a view and oh look, I can change the grammar here. And then invest in LinkedIn particularly. So when I started LinkedIn, I think we had about 300 million users, and now it's over a billion. So it's unbelievable how much it's grown. So I would say it's fantastic for credibility and lead generation. So it's been generous with it. Don't just like post. You know, have a plan and stick to it in terms of posting, because then that shows how you demonstrate value as well. So that links into the be interested point. So that's what I would suggest. I mean, obviously, there's lots more. It could be the subject of a whole day, isn't it? But yeah, those are probably
Yeah.
the key things.
I might be springing you this question, but I'm curious. Will you share what your lead gen plan? You just mentioned LinkedIn. Tell us a little bit about what your lead generation process looks like and what it consists of, and how you. I think you're really good at generating excess demand, Rachel.
Oh, thank
Um,
you very much. That's
yeah.
very kind of you. I think sometimes I doubt that. I think, oh no, no, but I think for LinkedIn, I try and grow my network by 5 people every week.
Mm.
I post every week. With your help, I do a monthly newsletter, so I
Mm.
use that in terms of credibility, and I also have a plan in terms of conferences as well. So I'm lucky enough to get invited to speak at various conferences, which then demonstrates the fact that I know my stuff, and you can have a wider audience as well. And I think having that consistency focus on catching up with people and seeing what the market's saying and what your contacts are saying, so you always get something from it. And I think it's
Mm.
just having that, being willing to share information and get information in return that you can see what, basically keep your finger on the pulse, as people say,
Yeah.
and generate those leads and see what the opportunities are. And then obviously then tracking them in one page CRM, which you'd recommended to me, which is a really good system and makes it so much better than the Excel spreadsheet that I was using that kept crashing.
Mm.
So,
Yeah, I think you've been one of the most effective users of one page CRM, I would say, from a consulting business perspective. We'll put the link in the show notes to the quick start configuration guide that I made for that tool. But to be able to just know, you tell me if this resonates, Rachel, but I think what you do is typically just keep track really well of who you want to reach out to, who you've reached out to, who you want to keep in touch with. So you just have a constant queue of people, and it doesn't have to mean that you're talking to 20 people a week. It's just a handful, and it just keeps that consistency going for you. Is that a good summary of the way that you're using it, or is there anything else you want to share about that?
No, I think that's a really
Yeah.
good summary, and I think it's tracking it, and that's what I think I would always do this before, but then I found with using one page CRM that it gives you reminders. So you're like, oh, I was doing it anyway, but it just takes that mental load of thinking, oh, I must remember to text them back or get in contact, that it just makes it easier. Automating, that's the word, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, which is so good. I think what you just said too, just adding 5 people a week to your LinkedIn network. We're not maxing out 80 or whatever the current rule is. It's just, or the upper limit of the tool. You're just taking that we could call it small, consistent action that continues to build your network, continues to open doors to conversations, and creates a lot of inbound demand for you ultimately through the network and on LinkedIn, through your posting and through speaking.
Yes, definitely. And I think as well, I read something about how LinkedIn penalise you if you send out too many connection requests.
Mm.
So I think for me as well, in terms of client actually delivering work, trying to do any more than 5, and it would be a bit more challenging. I think there's not enough time in the day.
That's right. Sometimes you just think it's not enough, and then we don't end up
Yes.
doing any, versus
Yes.
5 has been created a really successful business for you. We can all do 5 a week.
Yes, and in fact, and then it's easy to personalise the invite as well, and then offer to connect with people in your network too. So that's where again we're offering value rather than just being, oh, I need work.
Mm.
So yeah, it's been
Yeah.
positive and helpful.
Amazing. Let's shift gears a little bit and talk about some mindset. So, one of the areas in our past conversations, one of the areas that you mentioned surprised you was the impact of mindset on your business. And sometimes it's really, I think, hard to make mindset tangible and to really help highlight what the difference is that it makes in businesses. So, I would love to dive into this with you if you're game for it,
Yeah, sure.
and talk about let's start off with what did you initially think about mindset? What did mindset, when you would hear me talk about mindset on the podcast or other people talk about mindset, what did you initially think that meant, or what did you have in your mind?
I think I took it to be quite simplistic as just having your mind set on something thinking, oh, that's what I'm going to do. I didn't appreciate all the nuances and subtleties behind it because I also, and as I said before, when I set up selling someone, I thought, oh, that's me done. I've made the decision. Like, and it's so much easier when you made the decision, but it's having that mindset to then carry on growing as a business owner, and that's why I found such a massive shift. Although I'm surprised because I've done a lot of sport in my life, and I've had a number of coaches. I used to do triathlon and then more recently with motor swimming, and that's where having a coach, I wouldn't have not thought of having a coach there. So that's where I think I can't believe I left it so late to get a coach for my business 12 years in, but gosh, I'm glad I did.
What are the parallels, Rachel, between what would be effective for you as a coach from an athletic perspective and then from a business owner perspective? Did you notice any parallels?
Yes, I think it's having that voice of impartiality and support as well on a regular basis. So when I was training really seriously, doing 20 hours a week of triathlon training when I was at boarding school, you had a plan and you followed it. And I think that's when working with you, again, we had a plan. We had weekly check-ins, and it was just really good to get everything off your chest and then get another view that you could lessen the load. And it was the same with sport coaching as well, that you could say, oh, I'm not sure about this, or I need to work on that, and then you get that feedback as well. So even if things were going well, it was always helpful too. So it's having that structure, and then the way to then not offload but ask questions and then get answers so that you can carry on the right track as well, and then having a number of KPIs over a period of time to then track progress. So that makes such a difference. And I think I always thought, oh, that was something I had to do by myself as an independent consultant.
Mm.
And then I think having listened to your um, podcasts and then obviously read your book, it was thinking, oh, that's great. But then sometimes you need that help to implement it. Like with the best one in the world, your mind can be like, oh, I'll do it, and then find plenty of issues like procrastination. So that's where I think coaching helps hold you accountable.
Yeah. Is there an example you can share with us, Rachel, of what when you think back to the mindset that you had that was creating the results you had in your business, versus now what you've created, and where the mindset shift really helped to fuel that leap forward?
I think I would say it's a time thing. So before I had started working with you, I think there was quite a lot of I would spend a lot of time overthinking things and kind of, oh, what about this, what about that, which is, don't get me wrong, which is great in business and projects and strategy projects, not so good when it's your business and it's the whole time. So it's quite difficult to switch off. So I think what I found was it was just taking away that load, that mental load, and then in a way automate it, because you think, okay, using one page CRM, that will take away having to remember to follow up with people because it'll be a reminder every day, and just taking away that emotional that I suppose that emotional load, and then freeing up more time to concentrate on other things in life. That as much as I love being an independent consultant, doing other things and seeing friends and having fun, etc. So I think
Yeah.
that's where the mindset shift allowed you to think, oh, that is okay to do, rather than thinking, oh gosh, I must spend more time, because more time is always a good idea. So it was about how to put in processes that allowed you to step away from it and then come back feeling refreshed.
Yeah. Yeah. That putting in process and mindset to help you overcome overthinking, and lighten that load. I think another one too that comes to my mind is the way you think about yourself now. Tell us a little bit about the way you think about yourself as a business owner that might have shifted compared to how you thought of yourself before, we started working together.
I think that was where I was sometimes thinking, oh, I was the same person I started the business, say, 12 years ago. And that's where thinking
Mm.
it as a business owner mindset, we can take a step back, which is quite difficult to do. And that's why I think I could only have done it with the help of your coaching, is to take a step back and think, oh gosh, like I am the owner of this, I've got this expertise, this deep knowledge, and that's how I help my clients, rather than thinking, oh, look, I'm still doing the same thing I was 12 years ago. So it's realizing how much I've grown, developed, and the value that I can offer my clients, as opposed to thinking, oh no, I just need to get the next contract. So being able to have that space.
I think it's fascinating, right? You've been doing this for 12 years. And in some ways, what you just shared is your mind, your headspace is back at the very beginning. I'm new at this. I need to take every contract that comes my way.
Yes.
And that's 12-year span. It's so easy to not really give ourselves credit for where we're at, and really recognize where we're at right now versus where we were either 12 years ago or even in corporate, and the way we were thinking. I think it's so fascinating, the human brain and how that works.
It's so powerful, and I think that's where I look at it, I think, oh my goodness, but when you just think that, it's so easy because that's what you've always thought. It's quite easy to slip into that. So that's where it was
Mhm.
really good working with you in terms of challenging
Yeah.
that, and then thinking as well what clients I wanted to get and projects I wanted to do, as opposed to thinking, oh, I'll just take what's available. So it was a big shift, and I think it's taking away having more of a business owner mindset, as you talk about, rather than just delivering the business. So that was a big shift for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Have you turned away work, Rachel? Tell us a little bit about that. Have you turned away
Uh,
work?
yes, I have turned away work.
Yeah.
So I think it's having been clear as to what I want to do, and then if it doesn't
Mm.
align with that, it's lovely. But and also being okay with that, thinking that there are other things, because I have processes and I've got a lot of things that I want to do as well. So I need to focus on that rather than agonising over the one thing that I turned down. So
Yeah.
which is
Which
much easier
takes
said than done.
That's right. It takes a bit of a strong stomach, but keeping that space open for those ideal clients versus just taking what comes and feeling like, oh, I can make this work.
Yes, and doing things as well that you enjoy. I think because that's where it's consulting. I do enjoy it, and yes, it can be really hard, but it's so fascinating to work on things that because I love solving problems. So it's working with clients. You think, oh, look, I really want, I can help fix this, I can do this, and that's where I get so much satisfaction out of it, rather than just thinking I'll just take this just because I need to take it for cash flow.
Yeah. If you're game for it, let's talk a little bit about your pricing. We don't have to talk about the specifics of your pricing, obviously, but you've made some shifts with the pricing as well. Is there any mindset around that, Rachel, that helped to fuel those pricing structure changes and the amount that you're charging?
I think it was taking a step back and thinking, okay, not remembering all the times where it hadn't worked, but thinking, okay, look, this is building up and seeing what value is is being delivered, and providing really detailed outcomes and saying that this is what happens and it's based on this, rather than going, oh no, I'll just do the cut and paste what has been done before. Because I think I was listening to a recent podcast of yours where it's about people were proposals take ages, and you're like, they do, and it's trying to take a step back and not get too emotionally involved in it as a proposal. So it's been able to and write that and put it in with confidence, as opposed to thinking, oh no, I'm not sure about this.
Yeah. This is taking a bit of a departure, but I'm really curious about the way you think about this. So when you think about the proposals that you're building up, at the end of the day, you can't control whether your clients win their tender or not. You're working to help them to put themselves in their best position to win those tenders or RFPs in US vernacular. Tell us a little bit about the way you think about that, what you're signing up for, what kind of value you're delivering to your clients, and how you think about that. You can't, you're not ultimately responsible for them winning the bids, but you are able to provide them so much value. So tell us a little bit about the way you think about that piece of it.
I think I I think somebody had said it to me best, that people buy people. They want to buy people who are, or use people that are great to work with and helpful. And I think that's what I've always tried to think about. In some projects that I've worked in, that you can just see that, for example, the client may have said they will go for it, but you really know that they're not going to, or the politics are against them, for example, or in some cases you think even the government authority doesn't want to let this out, but at the end of the day, I want to do a good job in those bids, although they might not be successful. They're always a good idea and a good business plan behind it, and it's costed, so there is value that can be used even though the bid isn't necessarily won, and it's a great opportunity to work with interesting and like-minded people. So I think it's recognising that the thing about bidding as well is that, or tendering or RFPs, is that they are quite large and complicated beasts. So it's trying to take a view as to what being great to work with, offering value, but then accepting that sometimes no matter how hard you work, it could be, for example, COVID will happen, and the project I was working on in the Middle East got paused for a year. So it's just trying to grasp it lightly, but not take it too seriously. But then at the same time do a really good job. So it's quite a fast moving dynamic. But what it has given me is a deep appreciation of how difficult it is to bid for long-term projects, especially now. So for something like public transport, which obviously there's a revenue and costs, revenue never unfortunately covers the costs. There's always a gap that needs to be government funding. How you can predict future revenue in a world post-COVID where there's a lot of hybrid working and there's lots of price shocks, like the price of electricity for electric buses, for example, that makes it quite difficult. And so it's having a team of like-minded people to help come up with that, as opposed to just thinking, oh, I need to do this all by myself.
Yeah. And so putting that client in the best position possible to win those bids in a creative way.
Yes.
Yeah. But not a guaranteeing them that they're going to win the bid, of course. But really you're selling, putting that innovation, I guess, and the strategy and putting them in the best position possible.
Yes,
Is
and
that right?
delivering a really good quality score. I think that's where tenders, RFPs, they're awarded based on price and quality. In some cases, price can be 60, 80%. In other cases, quality can be 80%. So if you have something like sustainability, which is now 15%, that can make a difference. So in a recent bid for a client, I got the top scores. So that's where, with something like that, you can then say, oh, look, I got the top scores in this prestigious project, Elizabeth Line contract, this 10-year contract. That's where that helps then deliver that credibility to new clients, but then also deliver value for the client that's won the contract as well. And then there's that expertise in knowing what will work in timescales as well. So sometimes people can say things, oh, we can do driver training, for example, but if the timetable is really incentivized, there's no time to get up to speed and then reduce, you can't do that. So it's having that understanding of what works and what doesn't work as well, which I think will get too many complications about transport. I'll stop.
But I think it's exciting for those of us familiar with London. You helped your client win the bid for the Elizabeth line, and
That was fantastic.
um,
Yeah.
it's
And
amazing.
oh, thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, no, I think it's one of the biggest projects I've worked on. I think because I've always worked on transport projects that can be quite small, and people don't necessarily know them if they don't work in transport. So when you say Elizabeth Line, even the Middle East people go, "Wow, the Elizabeth
Yeah.
Line!" So yeah,
Amazing. Yeah. Have you shifted the nature of work over the course of the last 12 years, Rachel, in the sense of maybe more execution earlier on and now more strategy, or does it look around the same?
I think when I started, it was solely bidding and business development, and now it's a mix of bidding, strategy, and working on retainer work. So I think it
Mm,
has shifted, and there's been more of an interest in particularly sustainability strategy. So that has evolved, thankfully, which is great. So that's another opportunity. I think that's where it's taking advantage of what these wider changes are as well. That companies or my clients particularly need help with sustainability and the kind of the softer angles of things as opposed to just running buses or trains on time. So that's an opportunity for me to say, oh look, I can help you.
yeah. Listening to the market and then kind of evolving your services around that.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It just might come in a slightly different shape. So, for example, in the UK, there is no more rail tendering, but there is tendering of bidding for buses. So that's an
Mm.
opportunity there, and it's the same, of course, in terms of Europe, in terms of tendering for rail is now happening. So.
Tell us, so many consultants are interested in landing retainer type work. Will you share with us what your learnings have been around that specific type of service?
I think it's articulating the values that you bring, that
Mm,
you'd help me articulate, and then and also listen to your client in terms of what it is that they want, because I think it's different so for different clients. So I find particularly SMEs want more retainer work than perhaps sometimes bigger clients. That could just be my experience in my sector. But yeah, making it
mm,
very clear the value that you bring, and then also listen to what the client wants, because sometimes it's so easy to go, oh, I could do all of this. And they're like, no,
mm,
no, we don't want all this. We just want this bit. So it's making sure to listen to the clients as well. And then once you have it done it once, it's so much easier to then adapt that offer
mm.
and sell it to other clients.
Yeah, and know what questions to ask of the potential
Exactly.
clients.
Yes.
Yeah. Tell us if you're game. If you're not game for this, we can shift gears. But one of the things we worked on together was imposter syndrome, and I bring this up again. If you want to, if we don't want to go down this path, just let me know. But I bring it up because quite clearly you've been incredibly successful over the last 12 years. You have such a clear reputation that you've built in the industry, and you have ideal clients seeking you out and being attached to globally recognizable engagements. But there is still some element of a little bit of imposter syndrome happening at times. If you're game to share with us a little bit about that, I think it's so fascinating for other consultants to hear that all of us suffer from this in some form or fashion, regardless of how successful it looks on paper.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely, because it's something you think, oh gosh, do I really want to share this? But I suppose
Yeah.
because I think the thing about in consulting is it always feels it's like you're only as good as your last project, and so
Mm,
that has always weighed on me, thinking, oh gosh, like even though I've
mm,
got almost 12 years now, that you think, like I could it could all go away tomorrow, and so that is, I think working on that with you in terms of the journaling and the mindset shift, that makes
mm,
such a difference. But I think as well, it's so easy in life to take on board other people's opinions. I think because I was quite young when I started, I had a lot of people saying, "Well, you want to employ people, wouldn't you? Oh, and especially before moving to the lease, oh, it would never work, never work." Even though they'd never been there, but everybody's very keen to give your opinion, and for some reason, I took on some people's opinions more than others, and I think that still one hangs on to those. I'm seeing one trying to dissociate itself, but I hung on to it, and I think that's where being able to think, oh, that's interesting, and standing back, going, oh, that's fascinating, but not taking it on board. Because I think it's so easy to look from the outside. I think that's where it's Instagram, isn't it? Everything's presented. Sometimes LinkedIn to a certain extent, oh, it's all fantastic, it's this, it's that, but it hides all the hard work and the self doubt and the, oh gosh, I need to do this, I need to do that. So I think that's where that imposter syndrome. I think probably most people have it.
Yeah.
And I think I was listening to a podcast a few years earlier, and was it comparison is, oh, what was the word? It was really good. I can't remember. It was
Mm,
comparison is a not deception or disappointment, something like that. And it was in their
mm.
most recent podcast. I thought that because or another way to describe it is comparison is a thief of joy. It's
Yes.
compare yourself with
Yeah.
other people and then think, oh, I'm not doing a good job, but it's focusing on what you do and the value that you add, and coming back from that and thinking, oh, because this being an independent consultant is something that, as you say, it's not for the faint-hearted. You wouldn't choose it if you wanted an easy life, but it can be incredibly rewarding and
Yeah.
really enjoyable. So it's thinking, unfortunately, the imposter syndrome is a flip side sometimes of being an independent consultant. But then with the right tools, you can minimise it.
Yes. And I appreciate your willingness to share there, because I think it is so important for people to see the success that you've had and like I was saying earlier, the reputation that you've built. And it seems on paper like everything would be so easy and simple. But you're also a human, and that's part of this, of running a business. And, to your point, I think a lot of times people who question or give their unsolicited opinion, maybe family members or friends or colleagues from corporate or whoever it is, they say things that maybe we don't even they realize that it's creates some doubt, or kind of causes us to go off on a tangent mentally. But they sometimes they don't even have the concept or the construct of the type of business that we're running, or what it takes to run this type of business, or the all the success elements and ways of thinking that you've got in place that are so different than the way that they think. So it's just a different way of living, I think, and even just a realm of what's possible.
Yes, and I think as well that's why it was great working with you, because like for me, success has been an independent consultant. Absolutely, I can got associates I can work with, and it's great working as part of a wider team. But I love what I do. I don't want employees, but it's been okay in saying that's great. That's a great choice for somebody else, but it's not
Yeah.
for me. But it's having the confidence to say that. And I think when I started, I think I had a lot of older people saying to me, oh,
Mm.
we need to hire people to be successful. Thinking, oh no, but this is success to me. I love what I'm doing. I've got the flexibility. So I think
Yeah.
it's recognising that, but far easier said than done. Much easier recognising now, 12 years in, than a year in. So
Yeah. Let's switch gears for a moment. Before we started recording, you shared with me that you're in the middle of training for is it the Arch to the Arc, the Arc to the
yes,
Arch
yes.
race? Tell us a little bit about this, Rachel. It also ties into the what you were talking about earlier, the coaching. You
Yes.
having had athletic coaches in the course of your life, and tell us a little bit about what you're working on right now. I think it's really exciting.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'm excited, although quite apprehensive about it. So it's billed as the world's hardest triathlon, and it goes from Marble Arch in London, run walk 87 miles to Dover, and then swim the Channel, and then cycle from Calais to Paris. So I'm doing this as a two-person relay team with my mother. We swum two channels together, and she came up with this idea, and I thought, well, I'll have fear of missing out if she does it, and so we're going to do it raising money for Maggie's Centre, which is a cancer support charity for people suffering from cancer. So we're doing it in August 2026. Yes, and there's a lot of training to do. Yeah, I went to a training camp in Lanzarote, and we did a 6 hour run walk, and then I swam for 3 hours. Then I wondered why my watch said I was overreaching, and I needed 4 days to recover. So we've still got a lot of training to do.
Do you have a coach for
Yes.
this Arch to Arc?
We do. We've got a coach.
Yes.
We have a website. We have a training plan that I need to start in September. But I think Touchwood, when we do it, we'll be the first two-person female relay team, the first mother and daughter, and the first Scottish relay team to have done it. So again a niche field, but yes, it will be great getting to Paris. But yeah, it will be quite a lot of training. So.
You'll be famous in another discipline as well. I can't wait. So we'll have to get the website from you, and we'll put it in the show
Thank you very
notes
much.
so we can all follow along and donate to support you as well. It's so exciting to see what you've accomplished. It reminds me of that movie. Now I can't think of what it is, but it's about the woman who swam the English Channel for the
Oh
first time.
yes. It was. Oh, what was it? I saw it in the plane. Oh, I can't remember their name. It's not Diana, was it? No, that was the lady that did it from Cuba to Florida. Oh no, it was a really really good movie.
Yes, it's such a good movie. We'll think of it here in a second and put
Thank you
it
for the
put it
show
in the show
notes.
notes as well. Maybe there'll be a movie about you and your mom at
I
some
doubt it,
point.
but thank you very much. I think we're just going to content with some updates on our website for videos.
Oh, well, so good. So good. Do you fold that in at all, Rachel, in terms of your positioning or marketing and the way that you stand out as a consultant?
I think I have had because my mum and I swam between Jersey and France last year and raised money for
Mm.
Melisa Centre. So I pinned that on LinkedIn. So when people read my LinkedIn profile, like, oh yeah, you're the swimmer, and you're like, oh, thank you very much. That's but yeah, because it's something that I'm obviously passionate about, and I suppose it ties into sustainability as well. So
Mm-hmm.
I mention it in passing, but I don't lead with it. If people ask, I'll tell them, but I won't make a big thing of like talking about it too much. So.
Yeah, it's those little, I don't want to say little because obviously this is a huge, huge endeavor you're undertaking, but it's those things that make us unique that are part of that personal branding. And to your point, help people to remember who you are.
Yes, so I
A
mean,
swimmer. Yeah,
yeah, the summer with the Glaswegian accent. So
so good.
public transport.
I think the name of the movie is The Young Woman and the Sea. Do you think that's right?
Yes, it
Yes.
is. Yeah. Oh, there's
Gertrude
a
Ederle, the first woman to swim across the English Channel.
yes.
Such a good movie. I can't wait to see the one with you and your mom.
I can wait a while for that.
So good. If you're game to share, let's switch gears again a little bit, Rachel, and talk about, you've touched on it here and there, but working together with a coach who is me in this case.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about how did you decide, or why did you decide to, you mentioned making investments in yourself and in your business.
Yes.
Why did you decide to work with a coach as one of those investments?
I think I had to listen to your podcast and I'd read your book and I thought, oh, I'm really interested in learning a bit more because I thought, oh, the podcasts are great, but I wasn't putting them into action. And then we had an initial call and I thought, oh, this is exactly what I'd like to do. And luckily you had space. So that's how we ended up working together. And I think that's where I really wanted help to implement it because I was willing to do it, but I wasn't quite sure how to do it. So that's where the coaching from you made such a massive difference. So thank you.
Yeah, it was such an honor to work with you. Tell us a little bit about what did the business look like before and then after the work that we did together?
I think it's ironic that I help my clients with processes, but I didn't have good processes myself. So I think working with you with the processes made such a difference. For example, one-page CRM, investing in SEO, and just having a yearly plan as well, like mapping it all out. Whereas before I thought, oh, that's taken a bit too far, and actually, like, hold on a minute, this is my business owner. I need to take this seriously. This is not just winging it. So having that information and the processes in place, having the mindset shift, and then having a clear plan as well with the accountability. And that's what was really good working with you, was having the weekly calls so that you just do stuff rather than thinking, oh, I can't do it. You think I need to do it because I'm seeing Melissa. And then you had the
Yeah.
week at the end of every month to reflect and then come back again and think, okay, we're starting again for another 3 weeks. So that's where it worked out really well for me.
Yeah. Is there anything that surprised you about the process?
I think I was surprised how easy it was. So, you're in America, I'm in the UK. Like all this technology that you use, the software for. So most of my clients tend to use SharePoint, which I know is that it's not particularly user friendly. Whereas you use Trello and you would record meeting notes. Whereas some of my clients are like, oh no, we can't do that, possibly do that. It just made it so much quicker. So there was always information there. So it just made it really easy because it took all the noise and overthinking out, and it was just like, okay, this is what the plan is. So yes, it was lovely and easy.
Yeah. And anything that you took away from the work that we did together that we haven't yet touched on?
Oh gosh, I suppose. I mean, so much. I mean, it's been such a I've been such a worthwhile investment. So thank you very much. But I think it's probably the mindset, processes, and what other things are there? It's just so much. Probably the top two, the mindset and the processes, and then that's where it's great. I love listening to your podcast and hearing all your great new ideas as well. So that always helps. So I think, oh, look, inspiration! Look what Melissa's doing. So it's
Yeah.
been fantastic.
Yeah. Is there anything that we haven't yet covered, Rachel, that you would want to share about anything in business related or triathlons or anything?
Not that I can think of, to be
Yeah.
honest. I'll probably come off this podcast thinking, oh, I should have mentioned this. But no, I suppose just for me, just a huge thank you. It's just been
Yeah.
so helpful, and yeah, I've really enjoyed working with you. So thank you.
Oh, likewise. It's such a pleasure and honor to be working directly with you and to see where your business has grown into, and also how much more, I think, looking at it from my vantage point, the freedom that I think you have just mentally and with your business model. I'm so excited to see where that goes here in the next year as well.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. Let's see, as we're wrapping up, where can other consultants find you? Well, let's talk about your website for the race, if it's up already, and anything else you want to share.
No, thank you very much. That would be great. So my business website is Sorbonne Consulting. So you can find me on LinkedIn, Rachel Hughes Sorbonne. And then the website is in Team MAD. So it's Team Mother and Daughter. Also, maybe MAD describes the challenge, Enduraman. So Enduraman could be a Team MAD, but if we put the link in the show notes, we've got a page there, a video and updates. So yeah.
Oh, amazing. We'll definitely put all of that in the show notes, and it will be fun to have you on again, Rachel, when you finish it, and you can update us all on how it was
and the mindset shift that I needed to get through it.
That's right. And how that might translate to your business as well. That's so fun. Well, thank you so much for generously sharing your time and your experiences and the vulnerability, and look forward to having you on again after the Enduro Man.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Rachel. Thanks for joining me this week on the Grow Your Independent Consulting Business podcast. If you liked today's episode, I have 3 quick next steps for you. First, click subscribe on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to make sure you don't miss future episodes. Next, leave me a review in your podcast app so other independent consultants can find and benefit too. And finally, to put the ideas from today's episode into action, head over to melisaliberman.com for the show notes and more resources to help you grow your consulting practice from your first few projects into a full-fledged business. See you next week.